wear that outfit again. But if you want to keep it clean, because I want to fit in. Sorry, you're just not terribly important to me. Did you know that Whitney Houston's debut LP has 4 #1 singles on? Did you know that Christy, there are no girls with good personalities? I don't think we should see each other anymore. It never was supposed to be. Gotta return some videotapes. Have to return some videotapes. Did you know I'm utterly insane? I like to dissect girls that ate some of their brains. Gotta return some videotapes. I'm really late. Gotta return some videotapes. I guess I was probably returning videotapes. I guess I was probably returning videotapes.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah. I've never been with anything less than a man so fine. I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone past with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. I've never spent much time in school, but I've taught ladies plenty. It's true, I hire my body out for pay. Hey, hey, I've gotten burned over Cheryl Teague's, blown up for Raquel Welch, but when I wind up in the hay, it's only hay. Hey, hey, I might jump an open drawbridge or Tarzan from a vine, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood look so fine.
Oh, yeah? Well, me and the Lord, we got an understanding.
We're on a mission from God.
All right, here we are, folks. We make sure, you just make sure we got the volume going right. Yep, that sounds like me. Yeah. All right, so by wide request, we're going to be covering Joey Buttafuoco's story. The first edition, He Said, She Said Comics, and the other side, it's a flip comic. The other side is the Amy Fisher story. Look at that. No, we're not covering the Amy Fisher and Joey Buttafuoco story. We're covering Palestine, part 2. But we are, I do want to cover the Amy Fisher story, but I'm going to do it after, a little bit after I finish this. I'm going to try it over on Twitter, because I see they can do video over on Twitter, live video. So I'm going to try that out today, maybe half hour or so after I finish this. But you're not here for Amy Fisher. Unless maybe you are. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, we got everything all set. Audio is going. This audio, that audio, excellent. So the other thing we got to start off with too, I want to mention, is that I'm not really taking any particular side on this Palestine-Israel thing. A lot of people online were very angry that I was even discussing the Palestine comic and assumed that meant that I support this side or that side or whatever. The matter of fact is, I don't I don't understand all of the different issues, the different. I mean, I understand, you know, people being killed and stuff, horrible events, torture, things like that. I'm against all those sorts of things, obviously, but I'm trying to figure out and understand what the actual situation is. Are the Palestinians wrong? The Israelis, are they wrong? I don't know. So the way I've been doing that is by reading, and this Palestine comic is a good way to get a kind of a beginning grasp of the situation, the conflicts, the controversies. So let me pull up where we're at here. Here it was a little bit. I cover that one. Oh, there's some I did. I think this is where we stopped off. Tough and the Dead. Yeah, because we were at. No, I think I lost my place mark I put in here. This is where we were, the Chicago bit. But I did miss two of my little notes I had made here. I thought were interesting. As we know, this is Joe Sacco. If you're just joining us, well, this isn't Joe Sacco. I'm Dr.Ben, favorite neighborhood local doctor. Divinity, comic books, cartoons, comic strips. I like this because it was like him kind of like doing a shout callback to comics. You know, he starts off this part where they're discussing being tortured. The fellow with the glasses here, that's Joe Sacco, cartoonist, created this book. He says, make no mistake, everywhere you go, not just in Marvel Comics, there's parallel universes. Here, on the surface streets, traffic, couples in love, falafel to go, tourists in jogging suits, licking stamps for postcards. See, that kind of shows you the age of this. This is from the 1990s. I don't even think they sell postcards anymore, do they? I'm not sure. I don't think they do. I'm trying out a kind of a different camera angle. I don't know how well this is working. I seem to be getting some shadows, so I'm gonna I got to work to kind of like wiggle everything into the right areas here. Over the wall, behind closed doors, other things. People strapped to chairs, sleep deprivation, the smell of piss, other things happening for reasons of national security, for security reasons, to combat terrorist activity. You're happening to Ghassan a week and a half ago. He shows me his back and wrists. He's still got the marks. He's a fresh case, all right off the rack. So one of the things I found interesting, you know, is Joe's going down to, you know, the street level. Go find out what these people's stories are, get an eyewitness account himself of their eyewitness accounts, right? Find out, okay, you say you've been tortured, held for security reasons. Tell me your story. And you know, all of the Palestinians that he meets are very hospitable. You know, they invite him into their homes, share whatever they have, food, drink. They let him stay in their homes sometimes. One guy offers him clothes. We had been wearing the same clothes for days or weeks or whatever. One guy's like, here, you could take my clothes. And he's like, no, it's too much. But so, you know, I thought that was interesting, though, you know, the parallel universe idea, the multiverse, if you will. Him talking about in here, he said, everywhere you go, not just in Marvel Comics, there's parallel universes. Really kind of showing us what a parallel universe can be. You know, it's not necessarily, you know, the world where, you know, Black Panther, T'Challa became Iron Man instead of Black Panther or whatever. You know, like you can have parallel universes right in the same universe. I like that idea. Well, or at least I find it interesting. Over here, he's talking. This was a whole pages by. This is over in page 112. This is a whole prolonged sequence of this guy. Is that the same guy? Yeah. This is his story. Actually, it goes on for a prolonged sequence here of his experience being in the Israeli jail, being accused of fighting for what did they say, that he was with one of the resistance or terrorist groups, whatever you want to call them. You know, it's at this point words have lost so much of their meanings. You are suspected of belonging to an illegal organization. You're part of the Tea Party. A lot. That's one of the things I noticed online, just talking about the Palestine thing, is a lot of people are not. They don't understand how this could easily apply to them. You know, we saw a lot of people were problems with the vaccine, however you want to say that online. I don't know. I don't know if YouTube still takes stuff off of that, because I see people online talking about all the controversies over that stuff. For a while, if you mention that sort of thing online, you'd be removed. So, you know what I mean? Like, how far is any country from doing this to people that question different medical ideas, or alternative medicines, or alternative lifestyles, or politics, or whatever it is? That's what I think a lot of people misunderstand with a lot of this, is that it's like, okay, well, the Palestinians are wrong. They're the ones that are at fault. And it's like, I don't know if that's the easiest, that's the right answer. I don't think that's what we're supposed to be taking from this. You know, I think it's being against authoritarians. And this is the other thing, is he's pretty explicit about explaining, you know, like going before the court, and you know, the IDF would have to go before a judge and explain their reason for wanting to keep this guy in custody, right? And the judge would give him a period of time. I think initially it was 7 days or something, 8 days. Initially they wanted 15, and then every time they would get to the end of that, they would go back and extend it. You know, he would grant them another 48-hour period, and then they would try to get him to confess to crimes. That's something that a lot of people, that's what happens with authoritarians, is they just want you to confess. They need to fill their books. If you confess to a crime, well, that's all they're really concerned about. Not really truth or not truth of the matter, you know. But yeah, I find this one to go from, I didn't notice that before. It goes from being like 3 panels across, 3 rows, and 4 panels up and down, levels, layers. Goes from that to, like, he says after 4 days without sleep, he's held in these positions where he's forced to stand up. He's tied to a pipe or whatever. It goes into like 4 across and 5 down. You know, like it's kind of creating this kind of claustrophobic feel with all these panels to, you know, show what it's like. He's being locked up, interrogated, held in all these horrible conditions. You know, it just gives you this, really, like I said, really gives you the idea of feeling confined like that. It's horrible. Stuck in a cell. It's filled with piss. He calls it urine. Must be a French. And eventually he's let go after like 30 days or whatever. On the 19th day, I had another court appearance. They ask him, Your Honor, we need another 10 days to gather evidence in this case. Then his lawyer says, Your Honor, there is no evidence. There has been no confession. My client should be released today. Your Honor, we are close to getting the information we need. The judge decided I should be released. At 3 o'clock, I was released. And you leave. And then that's it. That's it. You know what I mean? There's no solution. Whether or not he did anything or didn't, That's what the note I wrote down is it possible to get the IDF's version of prisoners' accounts? That's one thing I think that would be helpful in all this. If we can get the IDF's version of things. Do they keep accounts? Do they release them? Surely that would, if there's a international court of justice, right? You think they would be able to have access to these accounts. And again, this is from 30 years ago, so we would assume all of that would be gone by now. But you know, one of the other people said it's a fan fiction. It's only in Jerusalem, in Israel, and it's like, no, this is him. Well, he was in Ramallah. It was Joe Sacco, the cartoonist, the journalist here. He goes and visits all these different cities, towns, villages. It has the ring of truth to it, you know, like it doesn't have the you know, if the stories he's hearing are actually lies, you know, that's one thing, but that's not the impression we get. You know, there's different things he brings up that it makes me kind of tend to believe the stories we're hearing, but you know, I don't think, you know, he doesn't. We'll get into it more. He doesn't like gloss over. You know, the what might, how would you say that? Maybe troublesome points. You know, there's soldiers, kids come out and start throwing stones or chanting. You know, like he doesn't hide the different things that happen. You know, they've overturned a dumpster. They've got tires burning. He's got. It really does give me a nasty shadow. I'm not digging that part. We gotta work on my setup a little bit more here. But you know, it's always a work in progress here at Relaunch. Every day here at Dr. Ben's comic book office is a relaunch. Every day is another chance to try something new and to get it right, to get it wrong. You know, always learning. I don't try to make any airs that I've got a huge professional studio or anything like that. You know, this is in between doing my own work on comics and whatnot. I like to read these other comics. And this, oh, those were ones I already hit. Okay, so this is where we had stopped before. Page 126, 127. Going back to Jerusalem in a taxi with this lady that had lived in Chicago, moved back to Palestine after 11 years in Chicago. And this is one of the things I was talking about. You know, Sacco doesn't hide the more controversial aspects, right? She's talking here, and she's definitely saying some kind of they might say is anti-Semitic things. You know, she's saying that if you're telling the truth about Palestine, it won't get printed because the Jews own the newspapers. They own everything in America. And that's that's the other thing too, is that I'm not trying to take a side, but I'm showing how relevant this is to today, right? We have the bill that's currently in Congress or Senate that's trying to redefine anti-Semitism to any criticism of Israel, which I will take a position on that. I don't think that's right. I don't think you should be able to criticize Israel and their policies and politics. For one, it's a separate country. Why should America have laws you can't criticize a foreign country? That's wrong, in my mind. But this is what I'm saying: is Joe Sacco doesn't turn away from this sort of like more unsavory parts of the story. You know, this is him in Hebron. No market in Hebron today. Center of Hebron is closed. Getting the story. He's usually able to get through, it seems. You know, the IDF soldiers are stopping people from going through the market to pass through the city. And he's able to get through because he's an American. He has a true blue American accent. So let's go. Skip forward a couple pages here. Yeah, if you see this guy shaking his pistol at you, it's not a good sign. Not the fellow you want to mess with, especially if you don't have a pistol as well. And this is one of the IDF soldiers. I would be embarrassed personally if that was an American military guy threatening civilians, his pistol or his rifle like that. Doesn't really seem like conduct befitting a soldier. But what do I know? Let's see here. This is this is this is again, him not shying away from unsavory aspects. Talking about how we were happy seeing this is back in the 90s, so this is just after the first invasion of Iraq by America. You're happy seeing the Israelis destroyed by the missiles. We were on the roof shouting Allah Akbar. My neighbor here was beaten for cheering the missiles. He beat his brothers too, even the ones not on the roof. We don't want to see anyone killed, but the Jews kill us and the missiles kill the Jews, and that makes us happy. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if he was really trying to portray everyone as, just Snow White, innocent and perfect, probably would have left that out of there, you would think. He even says how, these guys could use the services of a good public relations officer. I mean, it's the turn the other cheek stuff that gets out the hankies at the knitting circle. And they talked about how they welcomed Saddam Hussein's promise to liberate Palestine. So, that's what I'm saying, is this came out in the 90s, just after, like I said, just after the first Iraq war. George Bush won, if he was trying to make it as if they're just innocent people that nothing ever happened to, you would have left these things out. But you're doing journalism like this. When you do that, it destroys your credibility. Your job as a journalist isn't to try to lift up one side over the other. Your job as a journalist is just to report the story, tell people the facts. They don't want to hear, well, the fact is this, and that was the right thing to do. Fact is this, and that was the wrong thing. Then that's when you start inserting yourself into the story, where it ventures into our good friend Dr. Hunter S. Thompson's style of journalism called gonzo journalism, where he was a part of the story because of covering it. Eventually, he got to the point in the 70s, in the 80s, where he couldn't go and cover stories because him showing up became part of the event. You can't cover a story if people are conscious that you're a celebrity of sorts. It's hard to do, And this is, him covering vice versa, Eye for an Eye Town, March 79, 2 Palestinian teenagers killed. January 80, soldier yeshiva student shot dead. May of 1980, 6 yeshiva students killed after prayers. 81, after 1 Jew is stabbed, 3 Palestinian children are shot. 82, 2 Palestinians killed, 7 wounded. 82, again, 82, 2 Palestinian children wounded in grenade attack. These numbers, compare these to stuff now, and they're nothing. 2 or a couple people dead, that's nothing compared to 15,000 dead at a time now. So I mean, that shows you the difference in history anyways is astounding, and nothing obviously has been solved. So that's why I like to cover these things, is to put show us what's going on, show us the history. What's the reality of things? Pull a note off of here. Come on. Look at that. Pull that off of there. And look, it's not sticky. It's fantastic. This is, they were talking about in the Quran, permits men to beat women. They can, it's allowed in the Quran. I don't know if that's changed. It was one of the things this talks about too, is the different factions. Some are more hardcore Orthodox, they say. Some are more progressive. And I think the Hamas, which is one of the factions in here, is the one that gained power. They were the more hardcore. So I would imagine the things they're complaining about here probably haven't gotten better. But you don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, we kind of read and find out all these things as part of trying to understand all of it. So this next one here, I took a lot of notes in the second half here. That's something else. The job, it goes into a lot of discussion about the job, that women have to cover their hair, etc. And one bit in here, yeah. Again, this would be what would be relevant to today is Hamas considers Intifada a way of spreading its agenda. They want to force women to wear the hijab. The lady's talking about, one day I was doing some shopping on Omar at Mukhtar Street. I saw a lady physician driving her car right by the hospital. She wasn't wearing a hijab. 3 or 4 youths began stoning her car, injuring her. She was bleeding. They're yelling at her to cover her head. And people are yelling, don't do this. She's a Christian. She's not even one of them. So, I mean, again, like I said, he covers all this, warts and all. I mean, that's what we got to understand is, like, he's not trying to paint a good picture of either side. He's just trying to paint the picture of the reality. Get people's stories, what they're doing, why, and all this. That's when he shows maybe he's a misogynist. Still one of the boys. One morning with a blind man in a Jabila camp. I apologize, there is no tea this morning. I haven't even had breakfast. One of my wives is sick, the other is visiting her parents. I suppose I'll have to go out and get another wife. I'll start laughing. It's just if you marry her within the hour, maybe you can get lunch. And laughing at misogynist jokes. Oh no, Joe. Another thing I noticed a bit was that he did kind of have a tendency to get a sort of a same face business when drawing like older men. You get like this fella. It's real similar to the others. Let's pull up other guys. I'll show you. This was the part that kind of gave me a little bit of pause, in that it seems like there isn't. It's later they call it. Another thing I'm thinking, but he's saying that Amar's uncle has had to live in this bog upwards of 4 decades. So what's his take on the chance for peace now? The Jews are like a dog that has got hold of some meat. There won't be any peace until you kill the dog. So that, it seems like not a good attitude if you're trying to get along and make peace. But it is what it is, I guess. We don't. One of the comments I got, they were saying that the Palestinians are squatters on the Israeli land. All I could think was that the Israelis haven't had the land over there for like 2,000 years about. So if do they support like giving American land back to the Native Indians, Native Americans? Probably not. Some of these things too. We're talking about the problems with selling. Right? They're talking about how this one fella has a warehouse where tomatoes are packaged and sold. They ship them. He's saying how the Israelis do is they leave their tomatoes at the airport for days or ship them only after their own produce is shipped. Often by the time these tomatoes get to Europe, they're spoiled. The packagers and farmers back here have to pay for it, and their reputations are damaged. So it seems like maybe don't try to sell fresh tomatoes. Maybe can them. Find ways to get around problems you're facing. I don't know if maybe Joe didn't think about that. I don't know how you would tell someone that anyways. Hey, quit selling fresh tomatoes, can them. I don't know. Probably a small gripe in the ultimate, the big picture, I guess. Where he really excels, I want to point this out too, where he really excels is doing these scenes with like a big crowd scene here. This is where I find he really excels because he gets in all the little. This one down at the bottom doesn't have any words. You can see it a bit better. Oh, yeah, this shadow thing's killing me here. That's where I find he really, really excels. Put in all these little tiny details and figures. Really looks good. What else have we got? Boys Part 2. You gotta wonder if the Boys, if that's where Garth Ennis got the name for his stories. The Boys. Oh, this is talking about the fighting back against the Israelis, the Intifada, right? Saying before the Intifada, we had the idea that Israel had all the power and there was no way we could push them out. We were afraid of the soldiers. We felt like they were Supermen. We felt like they were like Superman, but then we saw they were afraid of stones. Yeah, that's just too like people know about Superman. They'd be all wrong, all bad. You hate people that know about Superman. I don't know. He asks him, why do you throw stones? What good does it do? Well, we know when we throw stones, we don't have much chance of injuring the soldiers, but there's something inside us. We have to show what is inside us. Really, it's become a habit to us. So, I mean, that, like it seems like aren't you afraid of going to prison again? It's not important if we go to prison or not. This is a prison for us. Never been to prison. Everyone else has been there, though. We are on our own. Some man shakes his head. You heard Muhammad say he's never been to prison? That embarrasses him. I think we covered that the last time, how the prisons, Ansars and whatnot, are considered kind of like their university where they learn things. If they're going to be a Palestinian rebel or a revolutionary or whatever. In this, he talks about talking with this kid. Firas is 15 years old and works for the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, one of the resistance groups that began influencing the uprising in weeks of the initial unrest. So that's the other thing. Like Palestinians, they understand that the way they look at it is that the Israelis are occupying their country. As the Israelis look at it, the Palestinians are occupying their country. That's how do you convince one side that the other is wrong, or how do you convince one side that they're wrong? I don't know if that's even possible. When both sides are willing to put themselves in harm's way and everything. It's a very hard thing to try and convince them, I would think. We have a time. Well, there's a thing that says how long it is. I did not see one. This was just mentioning the different factions that he mentions at the time. PLO, Ate, and Hamas. This guy was supporting... he said he was with the PLO. I couldn't help but be reminded of Monty Python. Monty Python, like Brian. You know, they have the People's Front of Judea, the Judean People's Front, the Popular Front. They're all fighting each other for who's going to lead, and that's what the kid talks about here is the different supporters, different factions, all fighting with sticks and knives and whatnot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Again, you know, it's not that the goal is to press on anyone to support this or support that, but you understand. This is what the situation is. One kid talking about how he was in the hospital. The soldiers would come in. Yeah, I need to figure out this shadow thing that says it's ruining the whole effect here. But he's relating stories of them coming in and tapping them in the hospital, you know, telling them to confess and this and that. Threw him on the ground, broke his arm, and they started kicking his arm after they broke it. That was one of the things that I was reading an interview with Sacco about the UN would get attacked by the IDF, the Israeli forces. I mean, so I'm saying is how do you decide who to believe and who not? Whereas the Israeli forces would say, you know, they didn't. You know, so then you immediately start trying to weigh different people's stories, truths, or whatever. Hard thing to do. Hard thing to understand what the reality is. Let's keep going. I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit. This is a lot more. Like I said, it's mainly only the personal stories, the boys, part 4, the 5 to 17. He's talking, you know, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The soldiers were on the main street. We were throwing stones at them, and then we ran away. It's like their pastime is throwing stones at soldiers. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I know it's kind of ineffective. I don't understand. Maybe they could find something that was a little bit safer. I don't think I would be throwing stones at soldiers, no matter how much I might disagree with them or whatever. Oh, these questions from this girl. He's at these people, and it's the whole family there. They're all talking, and this 10-year-old girl is asking him all these questions. What does the water taste like in your country? Is it better water here or there? Do women wear pants outside like they do in Egypt? Can a man have 2 wives? Do you have the soldiers and the Jews and Fatah and the Popular Front in your country? When I was in Egypt, I saw soldiers too. Don't you have soldiers in your country? Do they shoot the people? You know, these are all the questions of a 10-year-old kid. I've heard Christians eat snails. Do you eat snails? Which country has better food? What do soldiers do to the people in your country? What about feasts? Do you slaughter lambs and give meat to the poor? What about your mom and dad? Do you live alone? Do you have brothers and sisters just for the 2? Why don't you have Fatah at the Popular Front in your country? When would you leave? I think that was the fun. When will you leave? He comes back in 2 years. You'll be a woman. Would you marry him? Why not? It just, you know, that just kind of like struck me like these are the questions this 10-year-old kid has over there. That's just heartbreaking. You know what I mean? That's the questions on the mind of a kid. You know, like the soldiers. Do they shoot people over in your country? What about this? What about that? And like all these just horrific kind of questions that kids shouldn't, 10-year-olds shouldn't be having to ask if political parties. No. That's just the reality of it, you know. Here's another, you know, they're taking a taxi to Rafah. Is that where it is? Today we're going to Rafah on the border with Egypt. And, you know, different areas are flooded. They got to take different stops. First stop is Gaza town. Someone wants to buy some clothes, maybe a sweater. And this is the recurring thing throughout this is seeing the checkpoints, different soldiers having to go through the checkpoints. I mean, there's checkpoints here in America. People would be rioting. If you want to go from, Pittsburgh to Youngstown, you got to go through a military checkpoint. People would be pissed. I worry that's the next thing to happen is that here we'll get more like become a more active war zone like these places. Maybe then people will be looking at this. Maybe then people will be more concerned. Not like I said, I'm not trying to endorse either side, but show what life is like in some places, or else what life is like over in Israel, Palestine, whatever you want to call it. They talk about, you know, the people being injured and then not being able to get medical care. You know, they'll like kind of delay taking a hospital or taking to the wrong area. All things we've seen, story accounts we've heard, you know. I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't really answer anything, but it helps us to see what all they talk about how in that I think this is a good one to cover here. This is the border with Egypt, right? There's a fence, can't cross from Palestine over to Egypt or Egypt to Palestine or whatever. And there's friends and families that are on both sides of that. He talks about he's seeing these women that are yelling across the barbed wire and fences to someone over in Egypt. He's like, what'd she say? How are you doing over there? Say hello to so-and-so. Sadat went to Jerusalem in 1977. Nobel Prizes for peace were divvied up, and Egypt and Israel concluded a separate peace. Egypt got back to Sinai, captured by Israel in 1967, and the two parties settled on their border, which was bulldozed right through Rafah, Palestinian town. Most of Rafah's inhabitants live on this side, but a few thousand are stranded in Egypt. So, imagine that. You know, you live in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia or whatever, Houston, Austin, whatever. Just all of a sudden, okay, well, now this side is a different country now, and you can't go over there. What about your friends that live over on the other side? You know, like family. What did you do? Yeah, so it's a bleak book, definitely. It should be chapter 9, I guess, which would have been issue 9. It's originally a comic, 9-issue comic. He meets a couple ladies from Tel Aviv, and they're asking him for directions. And this is how the book did kind of win me over with Joe here. First and foremost, I am a gentleman. These young Tel Aviv ladies on their day trip require directions to the old city. I'm happy to lead the way. I know my Jerusalem. And this is only thing is we get up to the limestone walls and suddenly we're insistent on knowing the gate. Which gate is this? It's not Damascus Gate. No, Jaffa Gate. They want to be sure of the gate. Is it a dangerous gate? Comicsgate. No. Well, I don't think so. People are knifed by the Arabs, you know. It's not just stories. Don't worry. This will take us into the Armenian quarter. There are people from Armenia. Now does that see the point? Their names are Naomi and Paula. They will know we are Israelis. Let's not speak Hebrew. You know what I mean? Like, he gives them a tour, basically. And that's where I got the thumbnail. Like I said, one of his great strengths as a cartoonist are these pictures of crowds. I mean, that is... I'd love to see the original art for a lot of this. And for these pictures like these, just fantastic. Though still, I'll repeat my previous complaints of his caricatures, even for women. You get like kind of like a grotesqueness to them. The way he draws their mouths and their cheeks seems kind of off-putting for me. And the men too. I mean, look at himself. This picture. Get a nice close-up look of that. The picture of him there. He's got his face is just such an odd look. The way he draws his own face is just the shadows are destroying what I'm doing here. Well, so anyways, you know, there's not really spoilers for this. Like I said, he survives. This what I was talking about earlier too, with the old man. He gets a lot of the kind of same face. A lot of his older men all have the same sort of look to them. I thought this was sort of a funny line. Well, what about the peace process? It was dead before it was born. Peace process, beast process. The guy, it's the end. It's sort of an abrupt end. There's a picture of him. He doesn't look like his pictures that he draws himself as, but I guess that's the thing with being a cartoonist. You can draw yourself however you want. Books, Soba, got that one too, but currently that one is stuck in the river. And fish it out of the river is what I gotta do. Fish that one out and throw this one in. As you all notice, sometimes co-host Sam the River is not here today. He will be joining me tomorrow. Not sure what we're going to cover. Maybe I see my subscriber count is inching up, so maybe if we can get between now and then, if we can get another 200 and so subscribers, crack this baby open up live. It's been my promise. Crack this open. It's all close. A CGC comic, arcade comics review number 2. It's all solid. You know, it's not opened. You know, I'll have to show you that once we get to it. It's sealed in here, encased, encapsulated, whatever they call it. I am not a fan of, but open it up and we'll do something fun. We'll get out some torture tools, put the case through the process, bust this thing open. It does. It is. That rabbit, he looks upset. Like I said, the back of it has got comic strip by Art Spiegelman. Day at the Circuits. I only drink to keep from getting so damn depressed. These ain't so bad. What's got you down? Who else is in here? Paul Krasner. Oh, it lists Krasner and Cohen stories, Robert Crumb cover and art, Shelton, Griffith, Spiegelman, Deitch, and Lynch art. Classics illustrated parody, Average Day at Mission Street, Centerfold by Spain. So yeah, I know a lot of people like Robert Crumb. You'll be able to join us once we get up. Like I said, once we get to 500 subscribers. I thought it was 1,000, but YouTube changed their requirements. Once we get to 500, then we can do we can get super chats or something, or monetization. Like I said, help the old doctor out. I mean, let me get a couple dollars. But that covers all of Palestine book here. So that glare. This covers the Palestine book, but I want to do too. Maybe that's what we'll do with Sam. Is we'll cover the Joe Sacco's current comic. His current comic about Gaza over on tcj.com. I put a link to it in the first video. I'll put a link to both of them in this video. I'll put them in the comments. Flip this around. We got blank. There we go. Use this little book. Glare, we're getting off of that. So yeah, like I said, I'll put the stuff in the links below. And if you're following me over on Twitter, a few minutes after this is done, we're going to cover the Amy Fisher story. There's a comic from back in the 90s. It's got a pin up in it. Woo! Sexy time. And it's also got the Joey Buttafuoco story. So I'll see that and go over on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, I will be, once I finish it, I'll figure out how to get the video, bring the video, and put it on here as just a regular YouTube video, not a live stream. As I said, I'll be starting soon. We'll be doing a sort of more comic strip oriented comic, but it's also a true crime comic. I don't know, I'm gonna host it on Twitter to start, and it'll be a few panels at a time. Eventually we'll be collecting them. It'll be a true crime comic. Everyone's favorite kind of crime, true crime. I got all these little sticky notes all over the place. I should have been sticking these, doing something funny with them. I didn't think about that. So I guess is that it, I guess? What else do we have going on? Yeah, like I said, go check out my Twitter thing. In a couple minutes, I'll be going there live. Just try their video stuff they got. I don't know how comparable it is. So if it's better, maybe we'll start doing the videos over there and then saving the video and uploading it onto YouTube. I don't know. Like I said, it's me figuring all this stuff out on my own. We don't had a big walkout in the office while HR staff and support staff all quit in unison, despite the fact that I had no staff. How could they quit? Mysteries for all of you. Had to redo the studio, the office area here. As you can see, like I said, with that shadow. Look at that. Look at that shadow there. It's not good. I was not digging how that was. Thought that it would be better. I had the camera over here yesterday, and it was just right in my face. Couldn't put the microphone. Every day is an adventure learning things here. I could tell you that. We learned, someone posted that a word that was in one of the comics. What was it? Let me pull it up here real quick. What was it? It was, someone commented, distaff. Distaff was a word in the What If Fantastic Four all have the same power episode that we did. Apparently Distaff was in there. That means female. So they love that word at Marvel. I'm mixing up my own words. That's what happens once you talk too much. All right, well, I gotta get up. Oh, that's the other thing. How could I forget?
I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
New shit's is coming. New shit is on the way. Reportedly, I'm gonna join, be a co-host on another show with one of my strangest friends. Excited for that. Doing comics reviews, discussions like normal. Maybe not like normal. We'll probably do some pretty strange reviews, I guess. I don't want to let the cat all the way out of the bag, but we'll keep you updated. We'll have that. I'll let you know as soon as that's done. As soon as those are online, I'll get a little bit of a change of pace. Go be a co-host instead of having to run all those computers and stuff. As you see it, it's always a challenge for me. So it'd be nice to mix it up and have someone else running the show, and I get to just be a pretty face, you know. Till that, let me find us a good video to play us out of here. And be, like I said, with the Palestine project here, with the Palestine review, this is part 2. First part was yesterday, and once we throw this thing in the river, see what the river thinks about it, have him come on here, and we'll do give you his take about it. You know, I think that would be good. You know, because Sam always has an interesting perspective. He picks out a lot of things that I don't, and has a more obsessive nature with details that I find fascinating. You know, that's one of the reasons I love having Sam come on the show and give his take on things. So, and tomorrow, like I said, on the schedule, I'll get a video schedule on here in a little bit, and Sam will be here tomorrow live with me in the river. So till then, you know, don't do nothing I wouldn't do, kids. Keep reading comics.
Well, I'm not the kind.
One son of a. As I said, this is why I need someone else to run the show.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Microphone checker, swinging sword lecture, closing down the sector, supreme neck protector. Better want him, kid, Mr. Mepsa. Ballin' pop, about to blow his lid from the pressure. Too hot for TV, for cheesy. Too many wanna be hard, be easy. It's all in together, going all out together. It don't take much to please me. Still, homes are never satisfied like the Stones. We don't condone biting, see them selling crossbones. Protecting what I'm writing, don't clash with the Titan who blast with a license to kill rap recitants. Come on, in the zone with your nigga from the group home to Cal.
Fuck your lifestyle.
Put your lights out, get this shit to crackin', got you feeling with your pipes out. Time for some action. Surfing the avenue, mad at you, where I used to battle cruise. Back when Antoinette had that attitude. Cover me, I'm going in. Walls closing in. Got us busting off these pistols. My niggas got issues again. Same song, armed with the mega bomb. Blow you out the frame, then I'm gone.
This sucks.
Yeah, me.
Yo, I was going too, but we roam. Cellular phones, doc meth, back in the flesh, blood and bones, don't condone. Spin bank loans and homegrown. Suckers break like turbo and ozone. When I grab the broom, moonwalk, platoon hawk, my goons bark, leave you in the blue lagoon lost. True, B9's in the club with Masood, D9 in the glove, right behind on the boss. Haters don't touch, way is both up. Now my neighbor doped up, got the cable hooked up. All channels, lift my shirt, all mammal. You ship off keys and we ship grand piano. Sold on shotgun, hand on the pump, sipping on the 40, smoking on the blood. Bust my gun, red and meth, didn't jump. La 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 la. Yeah. Come on, red and meth, didn't jump. La la la. Hulk smash, little man! Little man, leave Hulk alone!